You're listening to Brigade Radio 1.
Welcome to the Antisocial Show.
They're coming. They're coming. They're coming. They're coming to get you.
Here's your hosts, Underblock and Tyson Sater.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Antisocial Show, the only show that believes that even when the power's out, the show must go on. My name is Hunter Block, and he's
Tyson Sater.
Yes. So, anyone that's going to be watching this video is, I guess,
they're going to notice it looks a little different.
Yeah, it's going to look a little different because I have currently no power. So everything is on my end is being done via phone and a flashlight that's behind me for illumination.
A little extra thrill for the near Halloween season.
Yes, absolutely. There's a major storm that's happened a little while ago, so the power is out.
Wow. So I remember the power going out like last week in New York somewhere. So it got to you guys as well? Or,
yeah.
I mean, different power outage? Probably not the same one.
No, different power outage. So essentially the last time that we had a major storm was like last week sometime, and the power was definitely out from like 9 o'clock at night till about 2:30 in the morning, so...
Wow.
It really sucks, but I'm not going to let it, prevent me from doing the show, obviously. I mean... Just because the power's out don't mean nothing.
Well, I hope that you have a good battery pack or something, at least for your phone, because you will need that for emergency services if you don't have anything else going on you.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, this right here is my Mac.
Uh-huh.
And it's got 82% battery life. I charged it last night, so I just turn it on, plug my phone into it, and then it can charge it. Worst case scenario.
You have a Mac?
Yeah. Well, it's a 2008 MacBook.
Cool.
So it's not new.
No.
But
That's
it
neat.
still works.
It's neat,
really good. So yeah.
That's very cool. I don't have a mirror in here, so I can't show you the picture of what I'm using.
I mean, normally I would be using here, if I can show you guys real quick. Normally I would be using. Let's see if I can turn the camera around. I haven't done this in a while.
Yeah, it's now portrait mode or whatever.
Yeah, let me see if I can't. Okay. So, right now, that's my all-in-one 24-inch Pavilion HP.
Nice.
Is what I normally use, and that's my soundboard as I showed before.
Very cool.
But since... this is a Pro FX.
Okay, cool.
Not by but the mic that I use is by Behringer.
Yeah.
So.
And
then there's
there's
that painting that I got of Batman.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Where'd that Batman thing come from again?
Well, the car came from the Batmobile came from the stash.
Right, but the painting.
The painting came from. It was a gift. It came from Hobby Lobby. I mean, I know it's Hobby Lobby, but not really a big fan of them. But
I'm not familiar with Hobby Lobby. Is it like a craft store or?
Yeah, it's like a craft store. They sell all kinds of stuff.
Or is it more for like people who build models and stuff?
Things like
more
like that too.
I mean, like model airplanes, maybe Warcraft figures.
Yeah.
Because that kind of stuff wouldn't be at like a craft store, really, like not like Michael's or Ben Franklin's.
No, it's definitely no. We definitely have like a Michael's.
Oh, good, Michael's craft store.
Yep.
So they're nationwide.
We go there all the time.
That's cool because we go to Michael's too. Yeah, that's where we get our paint and Yarn. A lot of our yarn comes from there because we used to get it from Ben Franklin's in Washington. It was a chain that was at least on this side. I don't know if it's on that coast, but yeah. So we have a lot of yarn still. And it's mostly in that closet behind me. I was like that big brown thing, the monolith behind me.
That's the closet where all the cool stuff's stored.
No, all you have to do is press this button, and then the hold on. Never mind. It appears to not be in service. Yeah, it's technology. Podcast gremlins.
Yes, podcast gremlins.
Yes.
Podcast gremlins seem to be fucking with my whole house tonight, and killed my power.
Oh wow.
So that's all right. Like I said, one of the coolest things is that you can Skype on your phone for such case of emergencies, and I was able to do that. So we didn't have to cancel the proceedings, so to speak.
Yes.
All right. So I have a Hobby Lobby. Yeah. So they sell a lot of cool stuff there. Cool stuff like that. Different models and stuff. I actually have a picture. I don't have it here. I still have it in my other parents' house. I have to bring it over. But it's a black and white picture that I had in my bathroom because I had like a Batman themed bathroom back there. Mm-hmm. So this was Batman and Robin. So basically Adam West, Burt Ward, mm-hmm. and they're standing by the original '66 Batmobile. Cool. That came from Hobby Lobby, which was pretty cool. So I'm gonna get that up in here too.
So have you had a have you had a chance to see the fourth video that was released of Antisocial Show episodes? I released episode 73, the one with Corey Epps at that Evil Ted guy.
Yes.
Yeah. So did you saw that it was up? Did you get a chance to see it?
I had a chance to see part of it.
Okay. Well, I was just curious because I put I tend to put visuals up for people who have never actually seen one of the videos. I usually put up a picture of something that we reference. It's not 100%, but most of them I try to get, and also there will be links to things occasionally. That's what you'll be getting if you watch the visual version of this. Like for example, also for those of you who've never seen a visual version. You will see a tour of Hunter Studio. You'll actually see that in some version of our podcast eventually when this gets edited together and put on YouTube. So, yeah, look forward to that. Anyway.
Absolutely. So, I have a question for you, Tyson.
Yes, sir.
And for our listeners out there. So, it's for all of you. You walk out of your house one day, right?
Okay.
And a spaceship comes down, lands down, and a Jedi Master comes out of the spaceship and says, on this day, once a year for the rest of your life, you will have the power of the Force, right? Mm-hmm. So now, the real question is, do you use the power of the Force to do good? Or do you use the power of the Force to your own advantage? Like if you're like driving down the road and get a speeding ticket and be like, I wasn't speeding, officer. I'm not the person you're looking for. That sort of thing.
Right. That's a good question. Well, I don't think I'd use it for evil, but I don't know that I'd necessarily use it for. Well, they added some stuff to like the Jedi's for Phantom Menace that like the ability to move really fast, like in bursts of speed. I like the idea of that. I like the idea of the Force jumping that they do. Mm-hmm. I like how acrobatic they are. I think I would probably use it to use that kind of agility to improve my tap dancing skills.
Ah, there you go.
Which are currently at, maybe 2%. They were only ever at, 25 to 30% for a high school play once. We did a thing that kind of looked like tap dancing, to be on Train Die. I certainly got that across. We did play Anything Goes. Anyway, so yeah, the agility I would like pretty much of the Jedi, and I try to use that for good in as much as I try to use it for entertainment purposes.
So that's Tyson's answer. I think I would also use it for good, but I definitely would like. I think I definitely would walk into one of those like comic museums and be like, "You will give me, issue number 27 for free. It's not the one you want anyway." Something like that. But no, I would definitely use it for good, of course. I wouldn't like just walk around and be like, I'm going to rob the bank now.
Right. It's so strange. I did a little bit of, as you know, I did a tiniest bit of stand up. Like I got up on stage twice, and the first time I got up, I talked about. I didn't really do jokes so much as I talked about. I started off by talking about Lenny Bruce and George Carlin.
Yes, two geniuses.
Right, and how they actually met once, and it was at one of the times when Lenny Bruce got arrested. He was arrested several times, but it was like I think it was around the third or fourth time that he had been arrested, and he gets thrown in the back of the car with a young George Carlin, who was like 25 at the time, and Lenny Bruce is probably Lenny Bruce is close to your age at this point. Like he's like 35 to 40, somewhere in there. He's not over 40 because he didn't make it past 40. So George Carlin's in the back of the thing, in the back of the paddy wagon or whatever it is, and Lenny Bruce is like, how'd you get in here? Why are you in? And he's like, and George Carlin says the guy, I'm paraphrasing. The story is basically he was asked for his identification, and he informed the police officer that he didn't believe in identification.
He didn't believe in identification.
Which is the most George Carlin thing I've ever heard. And Lenny Bruce's reply to that was supposedly, don't be a schmuck. Because it's funny, but being arrested is no fun. And it got less and less fun. And so now so basically what ended up happening, I remember reading this part of it, is that there were undercover officers are basically looking for underage drinkers, basically, at the club that they were at. And, So then I said on stage, I was like, actually, I think it started off with Star Wars, and then it went into the Lenny Bruce thing, and then it came back around to Star Wars. So I was talking about Star Wars and how old I was, and I was 3 years old, blah 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 blah. Then I tell a story about Lenny Bruce and George Carlin, and then I say, do you think in that moment it would be if George Carlin could have Jedi powers, he would be like, you don't need to see my identification.
Yeah, he would do that. Like, I can go about my business.
These aren't the underage drinkers you're looking for. Yeah.
They can go about their business now.
Move along. Yeah, move
along. Yeah. Have fun getting drunk.
Yeah, so I got to do kind of an Al Guinness impression of them. So that was fun doing that. That's
pretty cool. You should do that again. Have you thought about doing that again as far as like stand up?
Yeah, I have thought about doing that again. I feel like I'm kind of understanding more now how stuff is written, because I do tend to write things down as I have ideas. For example, might as well share stuff. I mean, I'm not professional. Not all of these are notes and things. Nope.
Okay.
You're gone.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so let's see if I can paraphrase this all. Okay, so I was listening to a podcast the other day. This is true. I can, and the two things I just said, by the way, if I'm actually doing stand-up, saying, I was listening to a podcast is my way of beginning the story. But it actually is true. The problem is comedians following something up with saying this is true usually means it's not true. I'm just telling you a story.
Gotcha.
It's as often true as it isn't, or it's I don't know, it's disproportionate, but it's no guarantee that they're not bullshitting. But I was actually listening to a podcast, and I heard somebody mention the Golden Gate Bridge, and there was a little conversation about how people jump off of it, to commit suicide, which isn't funny, but it is.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but it is. There's a lot of suicide that goes on, but apparently there is a little sign now on it that says, hold on a second. Okay. There is a sign on the bridge that basically says, if you're thinking about, hurting yourself or harming yourself, please call this number instead, and then, I don't know, talk to somebody. There's basically a sign that's warning people off the idea of jumping off the Golden Gate Bridge, which I think is nice. So this is
Oh,
what,
yeah.
So this is what I wrote. I'll just read you my notes, and at some point I've got to get this down into kind of a way of telling it, but I'll just read you what I wrote. So, Golden Gate Bridge. There's a sign telling you if you're thinking of jumping off, there's a number you can call, which I put in parentheses because I don't remember specifically what the detail is there. And then,
Okay.
so, well, it says if you're thinking of jumping off. Well, I wasn't thinking about it until I saw the sign. I'm not going to do it, but the imagery is in my head of myself doing it. And to me, that's pretty much thinking about it. And I don't like thinking about it. So now, if I ever happen to be walking on the Golden Gate Bridge, I'll most likely be taking a friend along. Not in case I jump off. I said I wasn't going to do that. You were here, you heard me. It's so I can think about them jumping off the bridge instead, which is oddly slightly less troublesome than thinking about myself doing it. So, if you were walking with me along the Golden Gate Bridge at some point, and then it actually had to write a second part of the note there. If you're walking with me along the Golden Gate Bridge, at some point, I will be thinking about you jumping off the Golden Gate Bridge. So don't panic if I suddenly tell you that I love you. It's just that I was thinking about you, and I wanted you to know that someone cares about your existence.
It's brilliant.
Thanks. That's a bit I'm going to try to develop into something, I think.
We talked about this before on previous shows about how when it comes to me and doing stand-up comedy, I definitely do appreciate a good joke, a good constructed joke. Like, for example, of course, Tyson's going to have to, of course, ladies and gentlemen, bleep this joke out. And not everyone gets this joke because I probably paraphrased the hell out of it. But, okay, so General Custer dies. And, of course, his wife hires an artist to basically paint her husband's last thoughts. So he paints a field, a bunch of cows, and Indians having sex, and presents it to Mrs. Custer. And she goes, "No, I don't think you understand. I wanted, my husband's last memories." And he goes, "But Mrs. Custer, these were your husband's last memories." And then she goes, "Holy cow, look at all the fucking Indians." So,
Yeah, I remember that one. It's a silly joke. I like that.
Yeah, so I mean, so what I can say jokes obviously, but you have to have obviously a delivery system to tell jokes that you construct rather than like life happenings, as I like to call it. So I kind of just take, if I had to be funny, I would just take like life stories or moments and try to make them funny because otherwise I just can't do it. I can't sit there and write jokes. That's beyond my talents.
I mean,
occasionally I can be funny though.
This is the thing. If you listen to enough comedy, and if you're good at recognizing patterns, eventually you'll understand the rhythms of it. Also, if you go see comedians and just listen to them and laugh, like you'll notice like patterns to how they tell stories. And then you might start thinking about stuff throughout your day, like, notice things and, be like, oh, that's a thing over there. And you'd be like, yeah, I wonder if there's you have curiosity and you think like I wonder questions. And then sometimes funny little self-conversations will come out of that. And then the butt of that will be some kind of a thing. I think I was listening to Harmontown. I think it might have been Harmontown with Pete Holmes or something. They might have been talking about that bridge. I'm not sure. It was recently though, because I was burning through the Harmontown. So I was really behind, and now I'm current. Well, I'm happy too, because I'm glad that we did, because that's well, it doesn't matter. I'll talk about that later.
I've been binge watching. So I've been trying to listen to podcasts on the road, but at home, I've been binge watching Comic Book Men. On Amazon Prime, since there's like 7 seasons, so I just periodically rewatch them and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And you cannot believe like some of the stuff that comes through the door where people are trying to like charge outrageous prices to sell. You know what I mean? like this one dude was getting married, and he walks in with his fiance, and he has a Godzilla statue from the 80s about, oh god, this is gonna suck because of my phone, but it was quite massive.
All right.
It was quite big, and yeah, something like that. Yeah, exactly. And the arms moved, and the tail moved. Yeah, exactly what Tyson's doing. He's like, and and the tail moved and everything, and he wanted to charge, I think, like $900 for it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but here's the problem. The problem is that particular piece did not go for $900.
No,
not at all. And then somebody hot glued the tail because it broke.
What was it made?
So
of? This piece?
I think the piece was probably like any other toy, like a hard plastic.
Okay.
I never had it when I was a kid. That Godzilla, but I mean,
I think I've seen it. I probably saw ads for it. This is early '80s. Was it before Godzilla 1985?
Yeah, I think so.
Or '84. So
it was definitely before '85.
Yeah. So yeah. Did you see many of the Godzilla movies?
Oh yeah.
I made a point of trying to go through as many as I could, and I ran out of time around. So I got to Mothra, and then I was like, I want to watch stuff this because I'd seen Mothra before. I'd seen like the cut for television version, and not even cable television, 3, 6, and 9. Well, actually, 3 and 6 and 13. I would have been on 13 because 13 was on PBS, and they didn't tend to show Godzilla movies on PBS, even though they.
I've always enjoyed Mothra as one of the monsters.
Mothra, yes.
Here's a funny story for you. So this is a very young Hunter block.
Mm-hmm.
Hunter had to been, and I'm referring to myself in the third person, of course, but Hunter, I had to be at least, I want to say 23,
okay.
22, something like that. And I was living in North Carolina, and I was delivering newspapers to like the 50-cent boxes. And it was at night. So all the boxes were at stores. So I remember pulling into one of the parking lots, so one of the stores, and as I'm going to put a stack of newspapers everywhere, because the Saturday edition were double inserts, right? So they were thicker than the Sunday paper, so they were like really, really thick compared to like what the Sundays were.
Mm-hmm.
So now I had a stack of these things, and I'm trying to put them inside the box. When all of a sudden this fucking moth, excuse my French, but this moth, the size of Mothra, decides to come flying down saying hello and stuff, and all the newspapers, of course, go flying in the air because, I'm not used to seeing moths that size, and I'm like, this gigantic Mothra motherfucker, he can have the papers for free because I ain't gonna deal with it.
Yeah, I've seen some pretty big moths.
Ooh, speaking of which. I've had this now for the better part of 7 years or 10 years, if you can see it. This is actually inside this little thing right here.
Yeah, looks like
is a moon moth.
A moon moth.
Yeah.
Interesting. It is as an amateur lepidoptery.
Yeah.
I think that's what, or is it coleoptery? Coleoptery. Oh wait,
I think it's coleoptery. Yeah, I think it's coleoptery.
Which one's lepidoptery?
I'm not sure.
Darn, that's right.
But I seen it. It was obviously dead when I found it, but it was like perfectly preserved. So I just stuck it in one of those.
Oh, moon moths. Those are those white moths.
Yeah.
Like I think, is it like the one I took a picture of on Instagram where I said, and I used to call him Gandalf or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, cool. That's REVT23 on Instagram, people.
Yes, go check
my Instagram feed, which is hasn't been
always rather interesting.
As of right now, it hasn't been updated in a while, and right now is July 22nd, 2019. But by the time you hear this, I will probably have updated my Instagram. But in the meantime, I've gotten lots of. I've got almost 300 pictures and films. Well, you know how Instagram works, people. Just if you're interested, have a look. If you're not, it's cool too.
And you can come check me out at Zombie Bacterium, of course. I'm trying to right now figure a way to take different angles pictures in fact, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get that video game recorder that you told me about.
Oh, the capture card, yeah.
Yeah, so I can take videos of what I'm playing, because the problem is I am almost out of memory space on Fortnite. So that means I can't build anything else unless I destroy everything that I created, more or less. So I kind of want to like preserve it in such a way that if I do rebuild, at least I have a record of what I built.
This is on PlayStation 4?
Yeah.
Okay, and you're out of memory on your PlayStation 4?
No, I'm out of memory on Fortnite.
Oh.
Like the creative mode.
The creative mode only allots you a certain amount of memory to use?
Yeah.
Wow, I did not know that. That's on PS4. I don't know if it does it on Xbox One or not. I don't know. I haven't exhausted the thing yet. I haven't actually played it in a while.
I have. Because I built, like I said, I built castles on top of castles, and I built walls, and I built all kinds of stuff, and I am basically out of room, and I have stuff that's like, it looks finished on the outside, but it's not finished on the inside, and there's no way I can finish it unless I have more memory space.
Right. So yeah, capture card. Yeah, that's what I'm using right now in order to capture this video.
What do? Do you like plug it into your game console and then it just? So
on its back, it's got 2 HDMI ports. This is also this is independently powered. Sorry, is what I was going to say. It's got an adapter that powers it, and then like a green light comes on, or so. It has 2 HDMI ports. One is input and one is output. So what you do is whether it's a console or a laptop that's putting out a picture, like as a second monitor feature or whatever it is, that goes. So you go out from your, let's say in this case PlayStation. Does the PlayStation have HDMI ports on the back? Do they use that, or is it something else?
No, HMDI, yeah.
HDMI, it's high definition multimedia interface. Right. So, so it goes. So in your case, it would go out of the HDMI from the PS4, and normally that goes into your TV or monitor. In this case, it makes a detour into the input, and then another HDMI cable comes out of the output and then goes into the monitor. So basically, it has to pass through the box before it goes to your monitor, because that's where it records it. Yeah.
If I could add an addendum to that, for anyone that's anyone that's playing Xbox 360 Slim, you can also use an HMDI, whatever it's called, wire. You can still use a wire to play Xbox 360. Decided to throw that in there.
Yeah, I've recorded also game footage of for using a Steam Link and this capture card, and it works really well. And the Steam Link, basically, for those of you who don't know, it takes your Steam games, and it if you have a machine or a laptop or even a PC running Steam that has Wi-Fi, or it's Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, I think it's Wi-Fi, it will beam out your Steam from your computer and broadcast it to your television, so you can play your games, your Steam games, on your television. So
that's pretty badass.
Yeah, if you like the idea of having a bigger monitor, because that's basically what the television becomes at that point, is just a bigger monitor. I actually used it to record 3 games, one of which I've released and 2 that I haven't on my channel. I've got it was Need for Speed.
Wrong.
Drink and Drive Simulator, I think was the name of that game. That bizarre game. So I did that one and 2 other ones.
Now, are you and Laura going to be doing your 31 days of horror games this year?
31 days of Boo? Or 30?
Yes.
Or Boovies?
Yes.
I don't know that we can do that. It's going to be so hard to have with the baby, and it's he's got a distinct bedtime, and it's like the idea of trying to fit in watching a movie every night in October. I mean, we haven't watched a movie together since in the beginning of the year. Let's see here. I actually can't keep track of this since you asked. Like, we watched a few movies before the 27th of January. But let's see. Okay, so so there's Okay, so then it's like, so we watched one on the 3rd, the 7th, the 8th, the 13th, the 16th, the 18th, the 19th, the 20th. So a few in a row there. The 21st. Oh, and then 23rd, 24th, and then baby is born. We watched one on February 2nd, 5th, 6th. So some of these were actually, he's still kind of sleeping, and then it's like a couple weeks go by, and then like so there's March, there's April, there's May, there's June. Mm-hmm. So basically there were 3 in June. And there's been one this month so far, and that was on the 7th, and then we watched Mission Impossible Fallout.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this might go a little dark, but I'm going to take you across my house to go to my balcony, and I don't want to end the show or put the show on hold real quick, so.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of hard, to be honest with you, when you have a kid to do, like, I don't want to say, like, you can't do what you did before, but definitely in the early years, it's kind of, it's kind of hard because you got to go by like with the baby, the baby schedule.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, absolutely. It's you completely adapt to what your baby is doing, and that's, I think, as it should be.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's it's fine. So it really kind of puts a focus on what free time actually is, and how little of it there is, and what and how well when you have a certain amount of time, it has to be utilized.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's it definitely helps with the old priorities. If one didn't before, and it's fine. Also, by the way, it doesn't feel like a sacrifice. It feels like what I'm supposed to be doing.
No, it's not a sacrifice at all. It's actually a great thing, because if you think about it, to me, like having a kid, it's like the next stage of your life, but also that too. I mean, everything that you enjoy theoretically, well, not everything you enjoy, but certain things that you enjoy, you could pass on to the kid, like your comics, video games, toys. It's like just an excuse to play with your old toys again. You know what I mean?
In a bit.
In a sense.
Well, no, absolutely. It's just going to be a while before he can, I'll be 50 by the time he's 5. So there'll be kind of like there's a little bit.
In this day and age, age is but a number. I mean, look at Ralph Garman. Ralph Garman's like 50 years old. His kid's 10 years old. So he had it relatively in his late 40s. My dad was 40 years old when he had me. So, I mean,
My dad was 24, and he was going to be 25. He turned 25 that year.
I am 38, and, I don't have any kids just yet. We're working on it, but not yet. So, I mean, like I said, age is but a number. I think you have to be ready in life to, have a kid, and obviously it happens when it happens. So it's like not a big deal.
You have to be okay with everything changing dramatically, and
correct.
It's just what it is. It's So
I mean, but it hasn't really changed too much for you, though, right?
What do you mean?
Like, I mean, like you're not like you didn't have to like give up your entire lifestyle. Obviously, you're still doing Succotash, Antisocial Show. You're still doing the Nooner and stuff like that. So it hasn't like. I mean, like your interest hasn't really been affected too much. I mean, obviously, the kid does have a schedule, but
no, I understand. No, okay. Well, I'll tell you. As of this point in time, as of July 22nd, 2019, my production of getting the shows out has definitely slowed down because, as I was explaining earlier to the audience, which of course they know, you have much less time.
Oh yeah,
but
I mean, it's not too bad though.
No, it isn't. It depends on what that means. It's like if I have a goal to do something, if I have a goal to put out a show every Friday, then yeah, it's terrible. But what I realize is that no, it's not terrible because that's not my goal. My goal is to be a good father and to be around for my kids. So if my editing time is 2 or 3 hours at night, I have to try to make that work, and it's not working. at the same rate, but it is working at a different rate. So it's all relative.
Correct.
And I'm fine with that. I am fine with that.
Oh, absolutely, dude. Because kids are definitely. I mean, if you're in the mindset of wanting to have a kid, it's definitely a magical thing. As opposed of like, I mean, obviously, you have you have Laura there, so you're not like a single parent, which would make things a little bit more difficult to get anything done, obviously. But I mean, it's not, like I said, having a kid is not too bad. It's great actually, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm at that age in my life where, I need someone to play with, because I'm a big kid myself. So,
well, yeah, it's definitely he's great to be around. I'll tell you that he's a really sweet baby. Like he does, he does get tired and cranky and cry, but it's like it's okay because he's like developing. I mean, that's what babies do. They cry. They cry and they don't cry all the time unless they're colicky, and which is it can be heartrending. It's crying is something that I respond to. Emotionally. I don't enjoy perceiving suffering.
How did he do in the restaurant?
Oh yeah,
you guys said you're going to take.
Oh yeah, we talked about that at one point. I don't remember if we talked about that on the show or not, but yes, he did okay. Enter Sandman, which
enters. Cat? This is ladies and gentlemen, meet Evie, who is the shoulder cat
performing acupuncture.
Yeah, obviously. Come on, get down, buddy or girl.
What was her name? Nini?
No. Her name is Evie.
Evie.
With an E. Yeah, Evie.
That's right.
Evie. E-V-I-E.
E-V-I-E. Yes. Not like.
Or as we call her, like. Go ahead.
It's the delay. Go ahead.
Yeah. We call her Fluff.
Fluff.
Because she's more fluff than body, and she can contort in unnatural states. It's weird.
So not like the Pokemon is what I was going to say.
Unlike the other two, who act like dogs, she has the very definition of a cat personality, which means that when she wants attention, there's no escaping it. She's going to get attention from you one way or the other. She'll literally force it upon you, like what she was trying to do right there. Because when she was trying to jump on my lap, I kind of like screwed her off a little bit. And then she decided to just kamikaze jump on my shoulders.
Yeah, that'll be fun for the people who get to see this.
Yeah.
That was a funny moment.
I don't mind it, though.
I know, but it was a good moment. Are you okay?
It was.
Did you get, like, punctured at all in there?
No, I'm used to it. I'm used to it, so.
You got calloused shoulders from being walked on by cats.
Exactly. Like I'll wake up and I'll have like cats I never knew I had before going to bed. So she has like a fascination with they all do. They have a particular fascination with the studio, in particular with this chair when they discovered it, because it's like a new place to sleep. So it's kind of like, it's my chair, and
Yeah, and cats can be pretty funny when it comes to perceived territory.
These cats are hilarious. They keep me entertained. And one of the things I was nervous about was the fact that I've always had betta fish. Right now I have a betta fish named Gar. And
Garg?
I've always had Gar, G-I-R, from the he's named after the Invader Zim robot.
Oh, okay.
And because he has like the coloring of the robot, like the kind of like the gray and the blue and all that. Normally I name my fish. Normally I name my betas like Japanese names, but I've had a few fish previously named Gur, so I think he's the third in the line of Gurs that I've had. And I have him in a big old fish tank, but there's no room in the studio for the fish tank, so I have him in the kitchen. And I was worried that, fish, cats, that sort of thing, but they actually love them. So they go up to the tank, they look at them, and then they lose interest.
Gur the third.
Gur the Third, yeah, pretty much.
Beta fish, so they're like sealed in basically, or something, kind of, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the beta fish was something they would sell at Ben Franklin. I don't know if they would sell some of the Michaels, but they definitely had beta fish because people are using them to decorate with. Yeah.
I get my beta fish from PetSmart.
Cool. Oh yeah, we used to have we had a PetSmart up north.
And of course he got sick.
Yeah.
So I had to get like fish antibiotic. Just throw in the tank. So he's doing a lot better now. He's a little gavone, of course. He likes to eat and eat and eat and eat and eat. So every time you walk up to the tank, he thinks it's feeding time, and he just like swims to the top. He's like, "Feed me, Seymour," and feed me, Seymour. Oh, that was one of the best early horror films.
Little Shop of Horrors?
Yep, the original one. The
film.
black and white one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Jonathan Hayes.
So getting back to my earlier thing about the Godzilla toy is that this guy was obviously looking for $900, but to authenticate the toy, and because the thing about it is I love talking about collections. I'm a collector myself. So he was looking to sell it for $900 because he's paying for a wedding. And I think one of the reasons why I brought this up was because I'm getting married myself, obviously, in October.
Mm-hmm.
And
congratulations.
Thank you. We have, we were fortunate enough that my in-laws are helping us, where obviously no one's, I guess, helping these people. But so they called in, or Walter Flanagan of the Stash called in Rob Bruce. Now, Rob Bruce is he's an icon. Like, he's like, the creme de la creme of collectors. You'll see him throughout the 7 seasons, multiple times on shows. He's the one that comes in and talks about, how much things are worth, how obscure are they.
I think he's in the first episode.
Correct.
With
things like that.
With the flea market.
Yes. So, but the thing about that is the fact that this guy was looking to move this piece for $900, right? As a collector, and from my standpoint is, I'm not going to pay you $900 for, a collectible that has no box and has, that's broken. You know what I mean? It just brings down the value of it. So I think he offered them $75 to $100 or something like that. That was like his absolute rock that he was going to pay you for it. And they went with it, of course. But the thing about it is when a lot of people walk into places like that, they're looking to move a piece on sentimental value to them. So to them, sentimental value is like $1,000, let's say. You can't, they're not going to go by sentimental value. It means nothing. You know what I'm saying? The fact that your sentimental value to you means that this toy means $900 is not $900. I'm not paying you $900 for an unboxed toy. You know what I mean? At $900.
Yeah.
Especially because for me, when I buy a piece, right? I guarantee it's never coming out of the box, ever. You know what I mean? And if it does, I put it back the way I found it, and it probably only ever came out of the box the one time, because once you take it out of the box, it decreases value.
It's true. If you play with the stuff, it does.
Now, take the Freddy mask I showed you in the Freddy mask, the Jason mask last recording, right?
Yeah.
When I got that off Amazon, I took it out of the package to try it on. So obviously, it's a piece that I'm never planning on selling at high value ever again because I took it out.
Right. Obviously.
But as a collector, you don't take things out of the box. You want to play with it, but if you're looking to, maybe someday sell it or something like that, you definitely don't want to take it out of the box.
I agree. That's why I tend not to buy collectible items anymore. I just won't, they'll just stack up on top of things and whatnot. I don't, sometimes I get a couple of little minifigures, I get like a collectible graphic novel compendium or something, and that'll go on the shelf.
I had to stop myself from collecting, actually, temporarily, except for comic books. I still collect comic books, but as far as big pieces, I had to stop myself because literally, right now, there's just no place to put it. Right. So I'm not going to spend ridiculous amount of money on a big piece that I can't, I mean, I got lucky with this studio that I was able to put a lot of bookshelves in here. You know what I mean? And put stuff on top of bookshelves. But, I mean, eventually it's like you just have to stop yourself. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Totally.
now, having a house is different, right? But you live in an apartment. I live in an apartment. You know that it can only go so far before it's like, you know, you're out of room, unless you can hang it on a wall or something like that. So, you know.
True. Well,
Now, I started collecting, believe it or not, on the sole basis that all the toys that I had in the 80s turned out to be very valuable later on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's those toys that I wish I still held on to. But, you know, you lose things over time, things get broken or stolen, and, like, you know what I mean?
oh yeah.
So, like, for example, what I am kicking myself in the ass for was that my parents had bought me when I was a kid, and it's now a very obscure toy. It was called Sectoids. I mentioned this before. Sectoids, right? So they looked like they had like human arms, human torso, human legs, but they had bug features, right?
Okay.
And they were called sectoids from another. They're from another planet, basically.
Sectoids.
And
from another
basically,
planet.
yeah. So, well, no, they were from another planet. They were just called sectoids.
Right.
Anyway, they had like this big gigantic like fort, right? Like this big gigantic like base that you could buy for them to like, you know, hang out in and all that sort of thing. And I had the piece until about 2006. But it was like broken. There was pieces missing, and I'm like, listen, why am I like hauling this thing from place to place to place? I have no room for it. So ultimately, because it was broken, I junked it, right? Because what are you going to do, right? A few years later, come to find out on Amazon, that thing is worth $500.
Oh boy.
Not that I would ever sell it, but I'm just kicking myself in the ass for it. You know what I mean?
Pardon me. Yeah. It's like, well, it's yeah, you never know when stuff is gonna like
increase in value.
It's something that like I remember watching a documentary about the comic book market and how it's like they were just pushing out so much things and people were immediately thinking stuff was going to be collectible, so they would like, you know, they bag and board everything they have, and then it's like now there's too much collectible stuff, so it all collectively goes down in value or whatever.
Well, if you're
It's like a glut in the market or something like that.
If you're out there collecting comics, let's say you're a beginner, right?
Sure.
Everything is graded, right? By this, I want to say the CGC or something like that. But everything is graded, so the higher the grade, the more it's worth, right?
Okay.
Stay away from comics that, I mean, obviously, if you want to like collect newer comics that just came out to start your collection, that's totally fun. But keep in mind, they're not worth nothing. What you want to do is you want to collect like first appearances, key, or known as key issues. So you want to collect like first appearances, anything that like major happens, right? Like for example, the death of Superman was a major event. That's worth something. First appearances, like issue number 27, Batman, Detective Comics, worth something. Action comic number 1, first appearance of Superman. That's a key issue. Black Canary, key issue. Black Canary, the issue where the Hulk was gray, the one and only time before they decided that green was just a better color for him. I mean, that's a key issue. I got to see that in Indiana in the flesh, and that was it was totally sealed up in the museum, Hall of Heroes, and it was the only issue where you'll ever see the Hulk in a gray color. So those are the type of comics you want to collect.
Okay. I do have a question about the Gray Hulk.
Okay.
Because there is a separate phenomena or entity called the Gray Hulk, and I'm wondering if that's distinct from when the standard Incredible Hulk was gray.
I want to say yes.
Okay. Because there's like a
because what?
Yeah.
when they created the Hulk, right? Because there's a Red Hulk too. Don't forget.
Yeah, well, there's also a one where he's dressed up in a business suit, like he's a gang enforcer. I can't remember his name.
Yes.
I think it's something Joe. I don't know. These are unlockable characters in a video game of the Hulk. It wasn't the Hulk Ultimate Destruction. It was the one before that.
So when they created the Hulk, his first appearance, he was totally gray, right? So totally different from the actual gray Hulk that they later created. But for whatever reason, I guess they decided to go with green. So he's been green ever since then. He was only gray for one issue.
Right.
But that issue, if it's graded, like let's say if it's like a 9.0, it could be worth money.
Cool. Yeah.
Now the Demons comic, the first issue of the Demons that I got, I paid 40 for that. Jesse paid 40 for that, or 50 actually. 50, I lied. 50, but that can be anywhere from like $50 to $500. So that's why it's sealed in a frame.
Cool.
For that reason.
Somewhere I've got Flaming Carrot #1. No, wait a minute. I don't know if it's Flaming Carrot or it's something Carrot #1. Oh, no. I got one called Atomic Mouse. Atomic Mouse #1. It's not Mighty Mouse, but it's...
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
No, it's not Mighty Mouse. I know what you're talking about. It just I'm just trying to put. Oh God, because there's so many comic characters out there. Mm-hmm. Between like DC and here's a piece of comic book trivia. The first collaboration of DC Marvel, right?
Okay.
Was a comic, and it was based off Wizard of Oz.
Really?
Yep, in the 1970s.
What was it? What was it called?
Just Wizard of Oz.
It was just
something like that.
It was just Wizard of Oz, and they had Marvel and DC characters doing a Wizard of Oz storyline.
No. It was basically the Wizard of Oz, right?
Yeah.
I've never read the book. It was a collaboration of both DC and Marvel together to basically put Oz in comic book form.
Oh.
So that was like one of the very rare times that you'll ever see DC and Marvel combined to do something like that.
So which version of Oz was it? Was it the Judy Garland film, or was it like just a completely original?
Judy Garland.
Oh, so they adapted the film Wizard of Oz for comic book. Together they did this. That's interesting.
Together. Yeah. Neat. I mean, I've seen the cover of it. I've never actually read it. But see, that was always my curse. I used to get comics and immediately bag them and board them instead of just reading them and enjoying them for whatever odd reason. So it's kind of like I can answer a lot of questions about comics, but then there's a lot of things I can't answer because instead of just enjoying the comic, I decided to bag it. You know what I mean?
Your feed is starting to go funky.
Okay.
Just a little bit.
Let's take 5. And then I'll Skype you back. Okay, so I was in my green room, which is technically my balcony. And I got to thinking about a conversation that I had with Corey. The 5-10 minute break is actually good, ladies and gentlemen, dear listener, for me because I get to thinking about stuff that maybe I didn't think about originally when we started recording. So I got to thinking about a conversation I had with Corey Epps from the Evil Ted show, Evil Teddy Bear. And we were talking about how he had a conversation with his Uber driver about podcasting. And the thing about it is, take like right now, I have no power, right? I could have just said, hey, listen, man, I can't record because there's no power. But this is actually a pretty good distraction to the fact that there's no power. So right now, like, I'm like just focused on what's going on right now, and then everything around me is kind of like nothing. Kind of like the last time the power went out. I read the entire script to Clerks 2.
Oh yeah,
by way of
you were telling me about that.
Yeah, by way of flashlight. And when I was reading, I totally had forgotten the fact that there was no power until I stopped reading, of course. So like it's definitely when you can just record and just forget about life for a while, it's great.
And forget about life for a while.
And that's the joys of soundcasting, really.
That's the message of soundcasting, did you say?
The joys of soundcasting is the fact that if you're a serious soundcaster, you're not going to let anything stop you from doing it. Obviously, I'm using my phone to record. I haven't had to do that for a while.
Yeah.
There's a few Ed Wallach episodes that we had where I had to record on the phone because there was no other choice.
And we weren't recording video at that point. We were seeing each other on Skype, but we weren't recording video. Yeah. Yes.
But I knew there was a way for me to continue doing the show, on the phone. Case in point with our last guest, who I'm not gonna, it's a surprise. But our last guest he couldn't make it to his computer, and so I said, "Oh yeah, just tell him to download Skype on his phone. He can go about his business." And so I knew it was possible. No interruptions, of course, but I mean, look at me. I got my phone. I got my phone mount to hold it in place, and I got my headphones, and I got this flashlight because it's like almost Halloween anyway when you hear this. And so, yeah, I mean, you can see me quite clearly. I mean, obviously it's going to be a little different when the video comes out, but hey, you know what? I'm still having a good time. It's still a fun time. So
good. Glad to hear it. And my thing just said poor connection, so we might experience slowdowns here very shortly.
Yeah, it's going to happen because right now I'm using LTE where I normally have Wi-Fi.
But it's poor connection on my end.
Oh, okay. But you'd be surprised. Like, we get so used to technology, right? Mm-hmm. That when you take it away for a few hours, it's kind of like, what do we do? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I mean, so this is what I do.
Amen.
The rest of the house is dark. Not used to that, but
oh yeah, it actually looks pretty well lit. Is that just light from the computer, the monitor that's in there? Or?
So I got this flashlight.
Oh, okay.
That has you can't really see it, but there's like tools on it too.
Oh, is it LED?
So it's an LED light, and I have it standing up on its bottom. Yep. Yeah. And I have it shooting straight up. There you go. I have it shooting straight up so that, there's a luminescence so that you can actually see my face because I was worried. I mean, it's going to be dark, obviously. You can't do anything about that.
But you can see that. I can still see you pretty well. Oh, actually, you can't see me right now because we're not I'm not screen sharing you at the moment.
There we go.
As you can see, I can see pretty well.
Yeah. So, I mean, I knew there wasn't going to be, like, a problem doing the show tonight, but... Well,
I appreciate you, taking the time to do it, and, it's been fun.
Absolutely.
Always good to get together and having a little conversation for a show. And in general, but, yeah, so... Well, it's only been 5 minutes, so... So let's see what we got left. Video games. Let me look at mine.
Oh, video games. I have a feeling that once next month I do plan on getting the thing you told me about. The what is that thing called again?
I think it's called a video capture card.
Yes. Once I get that, the audience will definitely see a lot more from me playing the games that I love to play. Right now, of course, don't expect a lot of newer games because right now I'm playing Silent Hill. Oh shit! What the hell's the name of it? I'm playing a Silent Hill game. I forget the name of it now. Downpour. Yeah, that's it. So I'm playing Downpour. I'm playing The Evil Within for PS4, and I'm playing what's that zombie game for PS4?
Oh, is it the new one? Is it a PS4 exclusive?
Yeah.
Is it Days Gone?
No, not Days Gone.
Dying Light?
Dying Light, that's it.
I haven't played
tired,
Dying Light yet, but I mean, it looks fun.
Oh,
it looks like Dead Island, but with verticality, like where you can like.
It's fantastic.
It looks
obviously,
very fun.
They came out with a sequel to this. So now, if the audience, if you ever played Left 4 Dead, which I love Left 4 Dead, I can never get tired of it. It's completely different from Left 4 Dead, right? So
Yeah.
in Left 4 Dead, like, you know, there's weapons all over the place. There's ammunition dumps. There's, you know, things at your disposal. You have a team that heals you when you're about to die. Where in Dying Light, it's more complicated because you're not always going to find the gun. Like, you may have to use like a piece of wood or a pipe, or you may have to like put weapons together. So it's definitely more challenging than Left 4 Dead. So if you like a challenge, that's definitely the game for you.
So you're saying there's crafting in it?
Yes, there's crafting in Dying Light. You have to craft your weapons, aside from the guns, obviously.
There's like weapon upkeep and a little bit of crafting, and I think there's a little bit of crafting in Dead Island as well, and Dead Island Riptide, which I think was the sequel to that.
Dead Island was fun. I love Dead Island. I have the first one. It's actually a pretty fun game.
Yeah, it's a zombie brawler.
Yes.
Basically, where there's a lot of melee weapons and a lot of improvised stuff, and you have to do upkeep on your weapons and like repair them and like swap them out for better versions, and there's a currency system. I haven't really got it nailed down. Like I think I played a bunch of it, and then like I didn't play it for a while, and I came back to it and was like, I don't remember how to do. Like, why was I collecting all this stuff? Because you got pretty much like a bottomless inventory, I think, but you can only carry so many weapons. So it's not really bottomless, but you can carry a lot of stuff in your inventory.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, but I still had fun. I should probably revisit that because I could do like a video or something maybe. I don't know. It's hard to find time to edit videos, but I'm still publishing them every now and then. Tyson Saner game is still going. It's just slower.
So yeah, next month I plan to pick that up.
Cool. Amazon.
Cool, definitely. Yeah. So we had, in the last two episodes, we had Corey Epps on, which was pretty cool. Always a fun time with him. We had Marty Yu, of course. And the last time we had Marty Yu on was actually pretty funny. And of course,
it was a fun episode. It's currently out.
Yeah.
As of July 22nd, 2019, that episode is out. Marty Yu listening one is out, but the Corey Epps watching one is out, and that is episode 75 and 73 for those of you listening in the future, because this one is episode 82.
Think about that, 82 episodes, dude.
Yeah. It's a quite an accomplishment.
Absolutely, I think. I mean, once we get to like episode like 100, I'm still thinking of ideas on how to make that special. Obviously, episode like 100, like like guests, things like that. But so we'll see. Yeah.
Okay. I'm looking forward to whatever happens. At this rate, we just kind of end up getting closer to 100 because we're just recording shows.
Yeah.
So it's we're recording them sometimes well before people. I mean, I hope it doesn't get to the point where we're recording one that's like a year out from when it'll be released, because that would just be silly. By that point, it'd be like just I don't know, try to push them out, weekly. But like, if I could push them out weekly, I would be doing that.
Well, the thing about it is, I just got reminded of on Facebook right now. There's an app called Face App that makes you older.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to see what I looked like as an old man.
Nice.
So yeah,
I haven't done that yet.
So as long as like for example, like right now we're recording episodes, and as long as like when they see us. Like, we're not like old men and we're like, hey, listen, remember the time we recorded, like we were like 38 and 45, and now we're like 65 because we recorded so much, so we had so much to push out before that.
Yeah.
But definitely not the case. Definitely not the case. But that is the Soundcaster paradox.
It's time travel.
So, time travel. So, yeah. So the thing about I'm glad that we have a few in the can, because from I think after the wedding, which is October 13th, until the 21st until the 29th of October, I will be on my honeymoon. So I definitely want you good people to be entertained until I get back. And, you know, I mean, obviously there's a long way to go before then. Right now it is, I want to say it's July 23rd.
Yeah, and you're part of the
for me.
It's July 23rd.
Yes.
It will be in an hour for me.
Yes. So by the time you hear this, it'll definitely be September, October. And usually we don't tend to record if we have a lot in the can, unless we have a special guest that we want on, and then we kind of like push it, I guess. So you hear that before you hear whatever else we recorded before then. I don't know, it's weird. But it works. It works. But yeah. Next time we'll have Jamie's on, or you know, Kevin Smith, hopefully one day.
Sure, yeah.
Or definitely Mike Zapsik. Or Ming Chang.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
Now Ming Chang, I've got to be in his presence a long time. Now, we're not like best friends or nothing like that, but he will definitely treat you like he knows you your entire life. That's how cool Ming is.
That's nice to know.
Yeah, definitely. You know what's weird is that I had the stash to my access for 10 years, right? Because I grew up in Kingsburg, and then of course I moved out of Kingsburg and I moved to Bordentown, which is like an hour and 30 minutes from the stash.
Okay.
I work in Red Bank where the stash is, but it's not like I get to go there because I'm at work. My office is there. I don't get to like go around the corner and be like, hey guys. But for me, it's weird because if I know you, right, I don't like to like bother people, if that makes sense. So it's like, it took me almost a decade to walk up to Mike Zapsik, even though we're friends on Facebook, and be like, hey dude, can I take a picture with you? And, cause I don't like to bother people. You know what I mean? So it took 10 years to work up that courage. But when you see me in person, like, you'll think I have like all the confidence in the world. I really don't. It's just something that I display because to me, like, I just don't like to bother people. Like, I don't like to just be like, you know, even if I knew a celebrity, like, as their friend or something like that, it's like, I don't want to like just walk up to them and be like, you know, if I'm in that position, I don't like to walk up to them and say, hey, can I have your autograph? Or, you know, can I take a picture with you? Because to me, it's like bothering them of some kind. So I don't like to bother people. So it took 10 years to get me to work up to, you know, ask a picture, you know, with Mike and Ming, of course. So.
Very well, yeah.
And now, of course, with Jay Muse, I had no choice because he was standing at the door when we were walking out. So I was like, okay, I'm going to grab a picture with him. But, that was a fun time standing next to Jay Muse. Definitely, he definitely, I want to say, matured in his older age, and it was definitely a fun time with that. So
cool.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Well, that's all the time we have for our Antisocial Show. I'm Tyson Sainer.
And I'm Hunter Block.
Be decent to each other.
Absolutely. Peace.
Have a good time, folks.